October 7th, a year ago, Israel has achieved most of its strategic objectives when it comes to Gaza, all with the idea of making sure that October 7th could never happen again. In the space of a year, it's managed to dismantle Hamas's military capacity. It's destroyed a bunch of its arsenal. It's eliminated its senior leadership, including, most recently, Yahya Sinwar. This has come at the cost, great cost, to Palestinian civilians in Gaza. Now is the time to turn those successes into an enduring strategic success. And there are really two things left to do. Get the hostages home and bring the war to an end with an understanding of what will follow. And that's what we've been working on this past day and will continue to work on throughout this trip. When it comes to the hostages, I met again with hostage families last night, including the families of the 7 Americans who remain in Gaza. And that reinforces once again for me and for all of us the urgency, the imperative of bringing them home, bringing all of them home. We talked about the plan that we've had on the table and the work that we're doing on that plan, looking at new frameworks and formulations as a possibility. We talked about the importance of determining whether Hamas is prepared to engage in moving forward, and the Egyptians, the Qataris are doing just that. But I believe that with Sinwar gone, because he was the primary obstacle to realizing a hostage agreement, there is a real opportunity to bring them home and to accomplish the objective. With regard to what follows in Gaza, this is critical because we have to end the war in a way that keeps Hamas out, make sure that Israel doesn't stay, and Israel does not want to stay. But we have to have clear, concrete plans for what follows. So we're spending a lot of time focused on that question, talking not only to Israelis, but talking to many Arab partners. We've had these conversations for some time. I'll be pursuing them in the days ahead as we meet with Arab partners, both here and in Europe. And we're working to get clear understandings for Gaza's governance, for its security, for its reconstruction, and what the international community can do to help Palestinians rebuild their lives. Even as all of this is happening, it's absolutely essential that humanitarian assistance get to the people who need it in Gaza. And as you know, a couple of weeks ago, Secretary Austin and I wrote to the Defense Minister, Strategic Affairs Minister, with a list of things that need to happen in order for assistance to get more effectively to people who need that assistance. So we went over that in some detail yesterday, and I can report that there's progress made, which is good, but more progress needs to be made. And most critically, it needs to be sustained. Even as we're dealing with Gaza, with the hostages, with the humanitarian situation, it's also been an imperative for us to try to make sure that this conflict doesn't spread. We are resolute in our defense of Israel when it comes to attacks it's receiving from Iran's proxies. And we stand with Israel and will always stand with Israel in its defense. It's also very important that Israel respond in ways that do not create greater escalation and do not risk spreading the conflict. With Hezbollah and Lebanon, we're working intensely to reach agreements on the effective implementation of 1701, the UN Security Council resolution that many years ago should have avoided what we're seeing now, but didn't because it's never been implemented. We fully reject it. We reject any Israeli reoccupation of Gaza. I said so in Tokyo a year ago. It's been U.S. policy. It will remain U.S. policy. And it's also, to the best of my understanding, the policy of the Israeli government. That's what I heard from the Prime Minister, who is the authoritative word on these things. So whatever they say, whether it's retired generals or some members of the government, that is not the policy of the government, and it is certainly not the policy of the United States. We reject it.